Welcome back, Cubs and Lions. This is our art project edition for April 7th. So we are going to make a rocket ship. So I hope you're able to collect some construction paper. Any colors that you want to use are totally okay. I am choosing to use a piece of black paper for my background. To show space. Maybe you want to use dark blue or whatever color you like best. So this black paper is going to stay just like this, and I'm going to use it probably up and down like this, like a vertical sheet of paper, okay? Portrait style. Now, you're going to need your scissors, and you're going to need to cut out some shapes. So I've already cut mine out. So you're going to want a circle, a large triangle, two smaller triangles that are the same size. They could be the same color or maybe not. It's up to you. A square, about the same size as the circle. Okay, square, circle, and a larger rectangle. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these shapes and I'm going to build a rocket ship. I'm going to glue them onto my black paper using my trusty glue stick, and I'll show you with each step how it goes, okay? Okay, so I have taken my black background paper and I have glued my rectangle kind of at a bit of an angle onto the paper. Next, I am going to glue the large rectangle, or the large, what shape is this? Mrs. Schultz has forgotten, a triangle. The large triangle to the top of my rocket. So now it kind of looks like a house, right? We're going to turn this house into a rocket ship. So I'm going to take my large triangle and glue it to the top of my rectangle. All right, so lots of glue because glue sticks and construction paper don't always hold so well. Feel free to use white glue or whatever glue you have. Lots of glue on it. And then let's glue that triangle right onto the paper so that I now have this kind of like a house looking structure on my paper. All right, next I am going to take that circle that we cut out. So this is a good way to practice cutting out different shapes, naming your shapes as you put them on. So I have my rectangle, triangle, what's this again? Oh, circle, of course. I'm going to put my circle right here. It's kind of like that window for people to see out. Okay. So let's take our circle, put some glue on it. Right, and I'm going to put that right onto my rocket ship. Now next, I am going to take the smaller square, not like a ceiling square, the square, and I'm going to glue it right here. Maybe we can think about that as being the spot where they can open up the door and let the astronauts in and out, or maybe it opens this way to make a little ramp as they get out. Now, if you want to, you could find a way to maybe make it kind of a 3D thing. You could fold a little piece so that it can go up and down if you want to. I'm going to choose to just glue it straight on just to show you, and then you can experiment with however you want to create. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue stick and I'm going to glue that right down below the window. Okay, so now I have a rectangle, a large triangle, a circle, and a square. What shapes do I have left? Oh, right. I have two matching triangles. Now these I'm going to use to make the, I don't know what they're called. We'll have to look it up and find out. Like a little fin, kind of, I guess, to make it look kind of like more like a rocket ship. Alright, so I'm going to glue those on. One and two, glue them both on. I'll show you in just a second. As soon as I have it glued. Okay, so I've glued them on. There's my rocket ship. May need a little more glue. Mine doesn't really seem to want to stick. So I now have the large rectangle, the large triangle, a circle, a square, and two matching smaller triangles. Now, just for fun, I am going to use some tissue paper. If you don't have tissue paper, feel free to just use construction paper. What comes blasting out of the rocket ship as it zooms off into space? Right? It looks like exhaust, it looks like fire, something comes flying out. Now, if I had orange and red, it would be awesome, but I have purple and red. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little piece of it, and I'm choosing to use tissue paper because it has a little bit of texture and can kind of make it a little bit fun here. So I'm going to take my tissue paper and my red tissue paper, kind of rip a little bit, make it look a little bit jagged and fluttery, and then I'm going to glue that onto the base of my rocket to make it look like it's really busting off. Okay, so I'm going to use my glue stick, and you may need white glue for this because I don't know how well the tissue paper will stick on, but we're going to do our best to test it out and see what happens. And, oh, it sticks pretty well. You'll be good. Okay, and then we're going to use, so now I have one layer. I'm going to add a little bit of purple just to kind of set it off. Sometimes there's a little bit of smoke and different things. If you had red and orange or yellow maybe, those would be good choices for the fire, for the exhaust and things that come out of there. So I'm going to scrunch it just a little so I get a bit of texture. And ta-da! Now I have my fire coming out of my rocket ship. But, where is it blasting off to? I think I would want to visit the moon. So I'm going to take a little bit of tinfoil. The tinfoil is shiny and silvery, kind of just like the moon. Now I'm going to use my scissors. Oh, there. Trying to run with me. What shape are we going to cut out for the moon? Now the moon is a big sphere, right? A 3D circle. So I'm going to cut out a circle. Now, oil's a little bit tricky because it can rip really easily. It also, though, has a really cool texture and it's shiny. So I'm going to cut out my circle as best I can. You can see I ripped a little bit. And then I'm just going to kind of crumple it up a little bit. The moon looks like it has lots of craters and texture and different areas on it. So my moon now has some craters and some texture. So I'm going to glue this moon into the background of my rocket ship painting. Okay. Again, we'll see what the glue stick does for the... Ah, it works. Perfect. And now I have the moon and my rocket ship blasting off into space. Alright, let's practice our... Oh, actually, let's answer some questions first. I have a couple of questions here for friends that were asking, such as Declan wants to know, what are black holes? well, Declan and everyone, black holes are actually the strangest objects in the entire universe. And it is actually a region of space where matter has collapsed in on itself. So it doesn't have a surface like our planets or stars do. A surface is something that you can touch. It's the top of or the surface is like the surface, what you can touch on an object. Okay, and surfaces can be soft, they can be hard, they can be wet, they can be dry, they can be all kinds of different things. But everything has a surface except for black holes. Now, gravity is so strong in a black hole that nothing can escape from it, not even light, which is why it's just a black nothingness. Now, gravity, for those of you that don't know, is when we have something and gravity just pulls things down to earth. Okay? So gravity, when you fall down, that's gravity pulling you back down to earth. You fall out of the tree, or an apple falls down, or the leaves and the snow fall down. It's because of gravity. Okay? Let's see. Gabe asks, which planet was discovered first? Well, there were 5 planets that have been known since ancient times. So they've been known for a very, very long time. And these are Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, obviously Earth, because we're on it. But so Mercury, Mars, Saturn, oh wait, I don't have Mercury here. Here's Mercury. Mercury, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. So these were the main 5 planets that have been known about since ancient times, thousands of years. But the most recent, or sorry, not the most recent, but the first planet discovered since then was discovered in 1781 by Sir William Herschel, and it was Uranus. And Sir William Herschel was one of the first modern astronomers. Okay, and he discovered Uranus in 1781. All right, let's do one more question. And this is from Taylor. What are the sun and the moon made of? Are they made of the same thing, or are they made of different things? The sun is actually a huge glowing sphere of hot gas, mostly made up of hydrogen and helium. The sun is actually just a giant star. So our sun is a huge ball of burning, glowing gas. Okay? And the moon is made up of rock, and it has a solid iron core. And when you look up at the moon and you see those craters and those textures, those are things that where meteorites and things have hit the moon and crashed into it. And also when you see the moon and there's those dark areas on the moon, those are deposits of basalt, a really dark rock. Okay, now let's read a story. Good Night Moon, with permission from HarperCollins. In the great green room, there was a telephone and a red balloon and a picture of the cow jumping over the moon, and there were 3 little bears sitting on chairs. And 2 little kittens and a pair of mittens and a little toy house and a young mouse. And a comb and a brush and a bowl full of mush, and a quiet old lady who was whispering, hush. Good night, room. Good night, moon. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Good night, light and the red balloon. Good night, bears. Good night, chairs. Good night, kittens, and good night, mittens. Good night, clocks, and good night, socks. Good night, little house, and good night, mouse. Good night, comb, and good night, brush. Good night, nobody. Good night, mush. And good night to the old lady whispering hush. Good night, stars. Good night, air. Good night, noises everywhere. All right, Cubs and Lions, I can't wait to see your rocket ship art. Show me where you're going to blast off to. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing you all tomorrow and on Thursday in our Zoom meetings. Goodbye.